Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart Center Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. And welcome back to the show, Cleo. I'm Cleo the Seer. Hey, Cleo. And
Hi.
welcome to the new time for kitchen table issues.
Yeah, we're doing
Yay!
we're doing something new here, trying to fit everybody in.
Yes, yeah, working around all kinds of different schedules. That's not a bad problem to have. That we're so busy that it's like, oh, okay, well, can we do this next Monday? No, because I'm doing this and this. Okay, well then.
And you're right. Yeah, at least we've got something going on.
Exactly, which is not too bad at all. So hello, artist Liz. Hello, Patrick Duncan. Nice to see you here. I'm only showing a few people here, but there's lots that are here. They're just being very quiet. Hello, Maureen D'Amico, CJ Knop. Hello. So, Suzanne. Hello, Suzanne. Nice to see you. I have been doing a lot of burping today, and I can't figure out why. So I'm going to do my very best to control it. But if I do burp at you out loud, please forgive me. It's
Burping
not,
happens.
yeah. It's not that I don't have any manners. It's just yeah. I've been finding the last little while there are times throughout the day that my stomach just decides to act up a little to let me know it's there. You know. So yeah, I have ginger on hand for that. So
Okay.
yeah. And hello, Jamie. Hello, Patsy Klein. Katie and Proud. Hello, Irene Oswald. Hello, Debbie Smith. Oh, thank you. Yeah, she says you're forgiven ahead of time. Thank you. Julie, hello. So, what did we have? Yeah, big news today. There was another plane incident
Yes, that was a bad accident in your
in
neck of the
Toronto.
woods.
Yes, in Toronto. Yeah, apparently it was a Delta flight, and that well it ended up on
Oh, yeah,
on its
upside
back
down.
or whatever. Anyway, upside down. And my initial sense, because I did a show earlier with Deborah Zuckow, and yeah, Aileen Acadian Proud had mentioned it, and so had someone else. So anyway, I didn't have a chance at that point to look into it, but it felt like it was weather related. And sure enough, when I looked at it afterwards, yeah, there is a storm, and I think that's what happened. Was there was a you know how they have those wind shear and different things that happen with the wind, but apparently, yeah, there was a plane that had just landed before them, and so there was almost like the air bubble or anyway. Anyway,
It was snowy and icy, and you had a lot of wind, and yeah, I mean,
yes,
it's just, and I'm so fortunate though. I mean,
yeah.
I know that even the plane started on fire, but it sounds like not that many people, that nobody got killed.
No, nobody got killed. Yeah, there
There
was
wasn't that
three that
concern.
were badly injured. Um, One of them was a child.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
terrible.
and but thankfully, no loss of life. And we'll just have to pray for the survivors and have them have a
Well, in these
speedy
last few
recovery.
weeks with all these plane
I
mishaps
know.
and things, I mean, the one over the Potomac in Washington, D.C., that was
Yes.
really, really a bad one. And I know
Yes.
people are thinking there's maybe a conspiracy thing going on and that somebody is planning this stuff. I think it just is an accident, and it just, it just
Yes.
happened. And, and also, I mean, when we're talking winter weather, those kind of things can happen. But,
Yeah.
this one it was a bad accident, but it looks like, although some people got hurt, at least there was no fatalities. So,
Exactly. Yeah,
good thing.
exactly. And yeah,
Yeah, just
Suzanne
really
says,
excited for that.
last I heard, 18 injured, including a child. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, Connie B says, yeah, geez, how many more times is this going to happen? Um, it is going to happen more often, let's face it, because part of it is the fact that um, the the air traffic controllers, their numbers have been reduced. So, when one air traffic controller might have been, managing 5, 6 planes up until now they're having to manage 12, 14, 15 at the same time. The more that you pile on someone, the more opportunities there are for mishaps, for things to happen. And then, yeah, like you say, just add.
Well, and this can't be connected to Trump because it was in Toronto, but some of the things Trump is doing is making things so
Yeah,
dangerous and just unsafe all the way around, not just with the FAA, but with
yes, yeah,
all the diseases that are coming out
yeah,
and possible pandemics and different food things that have been contaminated. I mean, it's just uh, what Trump is doing is just horrendous. And I
it
don't get
is.
really what his thinking is, other than to prove the point that he is the dictator he said he would be on day one. And, I do see things around that changing a little bit, coming
Yes,
up
absolutely.
maybe next month.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so. I think that, yeah, there things are change is coming. Um,
Help us on the way.
yeah,
I keep saying that.
yeah, exactly. And there's, anytime that you start shutting down government departments that are there to notify you of, certain things coming up, you can't prepare for something if you don't know it's coming. So if, yeah, measles are on the rise.
How crazy is that? Measles on the rise, which means that children aren't getting immunized. And that,
Exactly.
again, I mean, that started up before. I don't know if Trump interfered with that or not, but this Robert Kennedy guy, he is like the worst person to have. I'm just praying that we just don't have a huge pandemic, because
Yeah,
we're gonna, people are gonna die, just like they did with COVID when Trump did nothing
exactly.
with COVID. And so, but they've got to get the vaccines, because that's what's, I understand, parents have been freaked out because they thought that maybe the vaccine caused some other problems with children. And they're trying to tell you that they don't really believe that, but you're going to do what you got to do. But yeah,
Yeah.
measles on the rise. How weird. Tuberculosis. Oh my God,
Yes.
that is just a horrible one. I don't know that is there a vaccine? There might be a vaccine for that, but I mean, that's just something that you got to get under control. This thing with the bird flu, I don't
Yes.
see Trump doing anything towards any of these things. The bird flu is, to me, because he's eliminated a whole bunch of departments. That's the
Exactly.
worst one. We just have to depend on the people with chickens that are getting eggs and stuff, that they are doing everything they can do. And I did see a guy on the news from Washington State, where he was like cleaning his boots all the time. He put roofs over his chicken coops. He
Yes.
washes all the eggs. He just is constantly sanitizing the whole area. Um, because you don't know where the birds are coming from that are going to be infected with bird
Ex-
flu.
exactly. And yeah, they pass it on to other animals. Um, I mean, we we have lived a good long time without vaccines, and we had very, very high mortality rates. It was the vaccines that reduced the mortality rates. So, for anyone, and I believe me, I understand my one of my cousins, his son, um, was diagnosed with autism very shortly after receiving a childhood vaccine. And they have always felt that it was as a result of that. I understand the concern. However, the instances of those things happening are nowhere near the numbers of a measles pandemic, right? So you kind of have to be reasonable, and yes, if like somebody said that they thought maybe in Mississippi they're not requiring, here, hold on, let me put that up. Yeah, Acadian Prowse says you have states such as Mississippi that no longer going to require kids get immunized before they can go to school. That's a hotbed of disease. Let's face it.
Well, I know that, of course, I'm a little bit older, so we didn't, the
Yeah.
school didn't require us to get immunized. But everybody did, and they had things at the school. And then a few years after I did that, then they came out with stuff like on a sugar cube or something. I can't remember what the hell that was all about, but I mean, you
polio. Yeah, that was polio. Was pig
okay,
stuff on sugar cube.
polio and measles and
Yeah.
mumps and all of those things. Just they were just about eradicated, I think. I mean,
Yes.
so anyway, I am concerned about this Kennedy guy coming in, but I'm
Oh,
thinking more and more that we're going to see a big change. I think I think Trump is going to be removed. But
yeah.
I just don't know how quick, how fast, how it's all going to work. It's feeling to me like even when they get him out, they can't just overnight change things, and and they're going to have to find somebody to replace him, and we all know who that needs to be. And if it comes about because of the election interference, then it will be Kamala. But it's going to take some time, and it's going to be a battle in itself. And so
It will.
mega people are not going to accept this.
No, and that's why I've said for quite a while now that their mega are going to destroy Trump. They are going to destroy him from within. And the way that they're going to do that is when they realize that the things that he's putting in place are going to directly affect them. When it starts to hurt them personally, financially, physically, then and only then will they be willing to listen to any other point of view. Right now, what we are talking about, the things that we have been preaching for the last 10 years, they're not going to listen to that because it's all fake news. We're all a bunch of liars. So, I can't be wasting energy on someone who just does not want to hear.
Well,
So
I got a feeling that when the things finally come out, maybe not the first day or week or so, but when things finally settle down and come and the truth is exposed, then some of those people, you're never going to change their mind.
Yeah.
But some of them are going to look at it and go, you know what? We've been bamboozled. We have been screwed by the president. He has lied to us. And, and I see a lot of things coming up in the way of treason. So,
more and more people are coming out now when they're saying no, I voted for him, and no, if the election was held tomorrow, no, I would not vote for him. Farmers that wanted that, yeah, we got to stop sending money to other countries, and we got to stop this, and we need to look after our own citizens, and that kind of stuff. All that isolationism and so on. Well, now they're realizing that, yeah, US aid, farmers were being subsidized by US aid. And all of a sudden that subsidy money's gone. Well, I'm going to lose my farm. Well, okay, then maybe you should have thought of that before you voted for him. Just
and not just those kinds of things, but these tariffs. Trump is going to bankrupt the country if he gets away with doing all he's doing. Plus, the latest thing with Ukraine and Russia.
Yes.
Bad news. We got bad news happening there, and he's taking away aid from the United States to Ukraine, and he's actually handing over the country to Russia. So I think that other politicians are looking at this and going, wait a minute, he's kind of overstepped his boundaries. So there may be some things that they might be able to stop. But I don't know. I mean, Trump he's testing them. Just how much can I get away with? And even when the court said, we want you to stop doing this, he didn't stop doing it in certain cases.
No, he didn't, because everything that he has done so far has been kind of a, I dare you. I double dog dare you. What are you going to do to me? You can't tell me you're going to send me a, strongly worded letter. Wow, that's really going to be effective, right? So yeah, it's when they show up at his door and they've got handcuffs and they're saying, come with us, then it's going to be, whoa, wait, hold on, not so fast. But yeah, this negotiating a peace deal with Russia and not including Ukraine, are you nuts?
Right. Well, and like Zelensky said, he's not, he has to be included, which only makes sense.
He does. Of course he does.
Yeah.
And yeah, otherwise, and what Hegseth, when he was in Brussels or whatever, before he went down to Saudi Arabia, was saying how Ukraine can't expect that its landholdings are going to go back to, pre-2014. Why not? So should they?
What have they been fighting for? I have heard that they maybe will have to give up only 8%. I don't know. Other countries are starting to support Ukraine because they see what the United States did, and so hopefully NATO and the other countries will.
I think that they will. They're not going to have much choice, because Ukraine can't fall, and Russia cannot win this war. I think that Trump is getting very, very close to lifting the sanctions on Russia, because Russia is running they can't support the war anymore, not unless Trump lifts the sanctions, and he's going to do whatever Putin tells him to do. If Ukraine isn't involved in and doesn't take part in whatever peace agreement there might come out, it might very well only be temporary, and then the fighting will resume again. What this has done is basically it has told, especially the European Union and European countries, that should anything happen, do not expect the United States to come in and fulfill their part of their duties according to NATO. They're not going to do that. So now we have to move forward with the idea that we're not counting on the US. We now have to band together and we have to look after ourselves. So there is a lot of the European countries, that's what they're coming out to. That's what they're doing. And they're saying, okay, we're going to go on this journey. They may very well decide that, okay, we're not going to be NATO anymore. Maybe we'll come up with a different acronym, a different name, and so on. But it won't include the U.S. On the one hand, that's not so bad for the U.S. because then maybe a lot of those military people can keep their noses out of places where they don't belong. That they're yeah. The other thing that does is it isolates the United States, so that if, let's say, a country like China was to declare war on the US, European countries and the other NATO countries would be well within their rights to say, sorry, dude, you're on your own. Like, you don't have our back, we don't have your back. Right? So it could be a nasty cluster F, but
yes. Well,
yeah.
They know that if Russia gets what it wants, they're not gonna stop there. And that's the whole reason Biden was trying to help Ukraine, because it's not just for Ukraine, it's for a bunch of countries in Europe. And so we're just I just can't believe
what Poland is next, Belarus is next.
Yes.
Finland. It's just going to be one right after another. And
now I just want to mention, Susan here says Trump has immunity, and we were talking about something earlier about how he would be taken down. He doesn't have immunity against certain things, but he might be able to, if it comes down that the election was interfered with by Musk and others, through electronics and through the satellite system that Musk has. He might be able to say, he didn't know that was happening, or just deny the whole thing. But that's not the point. The point is that they're going to do a recount, and the recount shows what I had predicted prior to the election was that it would be Kamala, that it would be a landslide. And instead it turned out to turn around to Trump did all this stuff and it was landslide. Now they're talking now about it will change all the voting for all the Congress people and the senators and everybody. Well, now we're not saying that every single Republican that got in shouldn't have, but they'll do a whole count on it, and they'll find that it's Kamala and all these other Republicans are going to have to be removed. In the meantime, this stuff that's happening right now, it sounds more and more like the orange one is a treasonous person, a traitor. And so, it may not necessarily, they may not connect that to the election, but, the other stuff that's happening right now, they know now. Nobody's fooled anymore that this Trump's trying to be a dictator. He is being a dictator. His vice president supports him, goes over to Germany and spews stuff that just shocked the world. Absolutely. Then Musk, he's all busy doing stuff with playing around with our finances and meddling in the treasury and doing all this other stuff. This is going to be accumulative things, but the election apparently is going to be what the big deciding factor of taking him out. His immunity would be that he might not get in trouble with that. He is going to get in trouble with the other things that he's been doing, and a lot of these
selling trade secrets. Well, or not trade secrets, but state secrets.
All these people that we saw get voted in or brought in through Congress, that they said, yeah, Kennedy will be great, and this other woman's going to be wonderful, and all these people that we know are not equipped to do the job. They will.
Yeah.
That's just gone. That's just gone. Um,
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, Pete Hegseth. Okay, I think he's the what is he now? Head of
the military guy,
yeah, head of defense or whatnot.
something like that.
Did you see him drinking at the podium? The known alcoholic who
No, I didn't see this.
who swore that if he was confirmed, he would quit drinking. Well, there he was over in Brussels, and I think he had either just finished giving a speech or was going to be giving a speech. Anyway, so he reaches down under the podium and he comes out with a glass, not a typical glass of water like he would have. No, it was a highball glass. And the liquid that was in it wasn't clear. It was colored. And so he brings it to his lips and he takes a swig, feels it going down and then puts it away. And I thought, oh my God, like right there, right on camera. That's everyone who's, oh, yeah, I'm gonna quit. Yeah.
Wow. No,
Yeah.
I did not see that, but that does not surprise me.
Yeah.
If you've known any alcoholics and they say, hey, I'm not going to ever drink again.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alcoholism is a disease, and it's a tough one to overcome. I've known a lot of people that have been through that. And when I know when they heard him say, if you put me in there, I won't drink again, they're just laughing. Yeah, like that's not what's going to stop you from drinking.
No, exactly. No, that's not it. That's not you. You haven't gotten to the point where you have said, "Hi, my name is Pete, and I'm an alcoholic."
No, hasn't come to that yet. But if all these things work out, and I know some people are talking about like the end of summer and stuff like that, I really feel like something's going to come up sooner. I really feel like something that really has some punch to it is going to happen in March. Around the middle of March. And I know that there's going to be a whole big process to do this. And I don't know how quick it can be done. But this morning I was kind of just wandering around and I got this thing because I thought, well, who's going to be president in between? If Trump's removed, normally it would be the speaker or somebody or vice president. Well, it can't be the vice president because he's just as guilty as Trump. And it can't be the speaker because he's a Republican and he has supported the fraud all the way along. Yes. So it'd be Hakeem Jeffries would have to step in for a while.
Maybe, or there could be a let's say a coalition. It could be let's say a group of three, a Republican, a Democrat, and maybe an independent. And they would act until things got squared away and whatnot. They would act as the presidential body.
Well, they've got a certain pecking order for who gets to be president if the president can't be president. Yeah. And one of those is Speaker of the House. Well, the Speaker of the House can't be president because he's in the same boat as the president. So exactly. And the second in command to that is Jeffries. So that's why I was thinking, when it came to my mind, I thought, well, yeah, that's probably what they do. Then they have to go through, show all the counts, show what they're talking about, bring out all this information, connect the dots, and then they go, Yahoo is Kamala. And then we get back to normal. But it's gonna take some time. You think there's fighting right now, and I predicted all the fighting that's going on right now is just, I don't know what, at least it's happening. At least some people are saying, hey, wait a minute, you can't be taking all this away from everybody. And when the judge tells you to do something, you should do it. And Trump's not doing it. We're in the midst of a constitutional crisis. So
Yep.
it's just it's going to take some time, but I have a great feeling about it. And I've still got the same feeling I've always had about Kamala. And even though everybody's talking about, oh, she can run for governor, I don't think so. I really do think she is
Yeah.
going to be it. And
Yeah.
but that might be what takes some time. I mean, maybe you can't. It's such a new process. Nothing like this has ever happened before. So it's
Exactly.
they're going to kind of have to
Yes.
reinvent the wheel a little bit. On the other hand, I think that the Democrats are trying to follow the rules, trying to follow the book, and you can't do that. And I'm not saying that they should do anything illegal. I'm saying step it up and see how outrageous Trump is being, that you have the same right to be as outrageous as he is.
Exactly. Don't worry about politeness. Don't worry about, political correctness
Yeah,
or
and what's
whatever.
all been
Grow
done.
a, grow a spine, okay? Put your cojones in a jockstrap and do something. Don't be, well, what can we do? What can we do? Like Jeffries was asked about something, and what can we do?
That really surprised me that he said
I
that.
Yes, and I mean, I understand it from one point of view. I do understand it because I think that it's always been the case that the GOP comes in and they overspend and they add to the deficit and they do all kinds of crazy shit, and then the Democrats have to come behind them. They clean everything up. They put the country back on the right road, only for people to say, oh no, I've had enough of the Democrats. Yeah, vote in a Republican. And then it's a vicious circle. So from his point of view right now, maybe by saying, well, what do you want us to do? There's nothing we can do. Maybe that's another way of saying that you did this. You made your bed. Now you lie in it. You fix it. Why are you asking me to fix it again? Like the other 18 times that, you know? So,
Right.
but I do I do agree that, you know what, all this niceness is like trying to be reasonable with a drunk, especially when they're in the middle of a drunk. It can't be
True.
done. Yeah. Yeah. So it's I think mega is going to have to hurt, and Republicans are going to have to hurt, and they're going to have to start um you know realizing that there are consequences to their decisions. It's not
Well, the
just a
things that
case of,
they've done is illegal. The
yeah,
things, and it goes against the Constitution and it goes against the courts, and they are all in cahoots together. So they are going to have to face the music. They might have to go
yes,
to jail. They may end up in
yeah,
prison. They may end up losing their position. Um, but they're all going to be scrambling. But once they start at the top, if something does happen with this election information that we're all feeling,
mhm,
and it starts with Trump, and then they start, rounding up
yeah,
all the others are going to just start spilling the beans, because they're not going to want to lose everything
yeah,
because they're going to try to act like they were doing it because Trump told them to, or they believe Trump, when we
yeah,
know in fact nobody believes the crap about 2020. And that's what his
yes,
whole campaign is based on that. So it's just a matter of time. But I mean, when it's gonna, you talk about clear the swamp. This will definitely clear
yeah,
the swamp. But it's gotta, they've got to have their ducks in a row. They've got to have their proof and
yeah, yeah,
evidence. They got to have that evidence. And I'm feeling like they do have it. I think they do already have the evidence of the electronic uh,
yes,
fraud with the election stuff. And as far as Trump having immunity, he does have immunity. That doesn't mean that what he's doing is morally right and going against the courts when the courts give an order and he refuses to
Yeah.
follow it. I don't think he has immunity against that, but he thinks he does. And so we'll just see how it's
Yeah.
handled.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And yeah, Patrick, I absolutely, I know that it's not all Dems. It's just a majority of Democrats. It's kind of, I put a lot of them kind of in the same basket that I would with what's her name out of Maine, Susan Collins, who, presented with all the information about Trump. Well, I am a little concerned. Yeah, because that's going to work. Yeah. Now that you have said you're a little concerned, I'm sure that people are just quaking in their shoes. Like, yeah, she's just all talk. So, I do agree with you that their courts have said, you've got 5 days to show the court that you are reversing this and the steps that you have taken to reverse that. We'll see what happens.
Well, what Trump does is he removes that judge. He takes that judge and says, "You're out." And I think he's already done that with at least one or two. And so he gets away with that. So when it's really up to Congress to stop this nonsense, because he should not be able to do that. And continually lie about it. When it came to, he said, "Well, we'll follow whatever the court says." And then he doesn't like what the court says, and he goes, "Oh yeah, we're going to get rid of that guy. We're going to get rid of the FBI. We're going to get rid of all these people that went after me." I mean, it's just bizarre.
It's not retribution. That's just, they're lying to you. I'm not looking for retribution. Oh my God, that's all it's been, is just one great big pissing contest. And
well, and then to turn things so upside down right off the bat. I mean, he's been in office a month, a little more than a month. And I mean, he just has taken things, turned it upside down with all these tariffs. He's made enemies with Canada and Mexico and Panama and Greenland. He has, hand over everything to Putin. Come on. This is not, Americans do not want that. That's not what we ever wanted. I guess the prescription prices are going back up. The Medicaid is insecure. Social Security, we're just not so sure what's going to happen there. I mean, every single thing, he's put everybody on edge. He's made us real cranky, and he's gone after the poor people, wanting to take away food benefits and Medicaid. And
exactly. That's how you keep people under control.
It's bizarre.
It is. But yeah. And I can't remember now. Oh, sugar, it's gone out of my head. Okay. So yeah, his latest stunt, I guess, and talk about, not being self-aware, or just really honestly not caring about anyone else. Yeah. In his little trip to Daytona, to the NASCAR races, there was a I don't know if it was a snowstorm or something had happened in the state. It was a natural disaster. There's a number of people that died as a result of it. And first of all, he said no, that there will be no federal aid that will be going to the state. But then what did he do? He gets in his and he does rounds around NASCAR, right? Not only his limo, but all the cars behind him. They're doing rounds on the racetrack. Are you kidding me?
I missed
They're,
that one too.
people are yeah, they're losing their homes, they're losing property, natural disaster, there's storms and whatnot, but no, no, no. I, your favorite president, am here. Watch me. Yeah, well, yeah, major flooding that impacted 3 states, says Joy. Yes,
Well, especially in California. First, they have to survive the fires. Everybody loses their house. Trump
yes,
lets the reservoir go dry so that he can dump water in an area that wasn't needed. And and this is another thing: the crap we hear on the news, or especially MSN, and on the
yes.
internet. And somebody said, "Oh, the farmers aren't mad at Trump for doing that. They see why he was doing that." Oh, BS! What, one guy came out and said
Yes.
it's okay, so they just jump on that. I notice that more and more in the media. 1 minute they're trying to say Trump's polls have really come up and everybody agrees with what he's doing. And I'm like, what? Where did you get that? Then the next page or the next article is,
Yeah.
no, people aren't really following Trump. It goes
No.
on and on. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
the floods in Kentucky, and the people did die, and the same in California. I mean, the
Yes.
just massive mudslides and stuff because of all the rain that came, and the trees have all burned down, and there's
Yeah.
nothing to stop it. I mean, it's just this weather, and I know that Trump doesn't believe in climate change and stuff, but
Yeah.
and I mean, fires are bound to happen, but no, it is the climate change. It's the environment
Yes,
that we
it
have
is.
created with all our cars and all our industrial waste. And then also, when these things start happening now, suddenly we run into problems with growing food because it's full of E. coli, or
Yep. And
all the
pesticides
different
and
bacteria. I mean,
all
and
kinds
he
of
wants to
things.
eliminate all the departments that are supposed to run the checks for things like
Yep.
that. Um,
Yep.
no,
Exactly.
what he's doing is creating. He wants to turn the United States into Russia. Is what he wants to do. He really looks up to Putin, and
Yes.
he watched. He's probably studied him for years. And now that he's able to just go ahead and call him on the phone, they had a 90-minute conversation where
Oh,
Trump
so
said,
yeah.
we'll just take away the funding to Ukraine, and then you guys can go ahead and take what you want.
Yeah.
And
No, his
I feel so bad for Zelensky. However, he does have some hope from other countries in Europe that are going to help him.
yeah.
But
One of the things that his actions have done is they have coalesced countries and groups of people that might not normally, kind of get together on everything. He has coalesced them all so that now there's the movement in Canada, and it is growing. And the movement is Canada is not for sale. Number one. Number two, you this is not how you treat your friends. This is not how you treat your allies. You are, playing the belittling game by, instead of referring to Trudeau as Prime Minister Trudeau, it's Senator Trudeau, and trying to
governor, he's calling him
government,
a governor.
government, yeah. It all that has done is it has made Canadians more determined that, oh hell no, that is not going to happen. You are not welcome here. Just just go away. We're not putting up with it. And it's funny because I have seen a lot of Canadian YouTube channels and Canadian readers who have said the same thing that I have said. We realize that it is not all Americans. We realize it's not we can't say, oh, Americans are horrible. No, because there's a good number of Americans who didn't want this, who never voted for this, who are just as angry and as perplexed as we are. So, we're not.
I'm glad you guys know that, because the majority of the whole country, we'd have no reason to be causing trouble for Canada. Mexico is a little bit different. That's been going on for a while, and that has to do with immigrants, and that's a whole different thing. Why Trump said Canada is letting in all these immigrants, I don't know where that came from. I never had heard about that before. I don't really believe it.
True.
Yeah, I guess
it's not. Yeah,
it's not true.
yeah. No, we don't have, immigrants that are. What are they doing? They're taking boats from South America and Mexico, and they're going around the U.S. to come up to Canada so that they can then go down. Well, that sure makes a lot of sense. I mean, yeah. So it's not caravans; it's boatloads.
While we're all watching this and getting concerned about it, I mean, he is putting these tariffs in, that's happening. And, right that today, maybe you're not feeling it, but soon you're going to start seeing the prices just go through the roof. We know why the eggs cost so much. It's because of the bird flu. But is Trump doing anything? Has he sent anybody in to say, let's get this contained? Let's find out what we can do about the bird flu? No, he doesn't want to put any money into that. He just wants to let it all go to hell in a handbasket. He does not care.
No.
So it's
because
just,
you know what? if he gets rid of all the departments that are currently in place, like the Consumer Protection Agency, like the Food and Drug Administration, like FEMA, like USAID and all that, what then happens is people are exposed to natural disease and things that, it kills off the population. The more that you can kill off the population, the more that you can control the ones that have remained. And you make them a lot more subservient because they have lost so much that there isn't a whole lot of them ready, willing, and able to fight. Right? They feel defeated.
yeah.
So that's part of what he's doing is destroying all those things so that he can control the population. And then all of a sudden you've got a vast number of people that are no longer contributing to a society. Well, all of a sudden now you could say, hey, we need to bring in immigrants. We need, we'll take the Jews from Israel and we'll take these people, and what we've got lots of room here, right? Because everything with him is transactional. That's all he's thinking about is how can I take control of their property and everything that they own, and how can I turn it around and make a profit?
Like Gaza.
Like
resort town. Yeah. And you know what? Nobody in the Middle East wants that.
No.
They're saying, oh, hell no, we're not doing that. But one thing I found really interesting is that when that idiot Musk went up and he's having his little press conference and he's acting like he's a big shot, he said, hey, we're doing what the people want us to do, what they voted for. And I'm thinking, isn't that perfect? Isn't that perfect, you asshole, to say something like that? That all of this taking away hundreds of thousands of jobs under the guise of we're doing it because we want to bring the budget down. We're putting out too much money and wasted money. And now he's acting like, oh, they've wasted millions and millions on Social Security. That a lot of the people there don't even have a Social Security number. I'm thinking, don't tell me that. You cannot get Social Security without a Social
No,
Security
Social
number.
Security number. Exactly. And yeah, you want to talk about, wasteful spending. It was over $18 million for Trump to go down to NASCAR and to do those laps around that track. Who wanted him there in the middle of a flood, of a disaster? You couldn't. Why not give 18 million people to the people that are there who lost everything? But no, it's we can't we can't support grandma and give her food stamps, and have a roof over her head, because that's too much money. But dear leader needs to take a victory lap. Oh yeah, we have all kinds of money for that.
And then for the fact that the United States made the richest man in the world the richest man in the
All in
world
the world.
by all his, by all the money that they have put
Yes.
into his Starlink, is that what it's called? And
Yes, yeah,
uh,
Starlink and all his government
now
contract.
they want to buy all those goofy looking
Yes.
Tesla trucks.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
things are just weird, but they were talking about billions and billions of dollars. I think they might be hedging on that. I don't know, but maybe it's already too late. I mean, they've already given Musk so much money for whatever it is he does about sending these satellites up, and
Yeah.
Star X or Star. I don't even
Yeah,
know.
whatever. Yeah.
I think the guy is just maybe the best con artist in the world to
Yeah.
create something and then go through the government and have them paying for it. Um,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
let's not forget that Musk was being investigated before all of a sudden he found an ally in Donald Trump. He was being investigated by a lot of different countries who were coming after him. That's why he made his, kind of, all of a sudden he's friends and he's supporting Donald Trump, because that he feels that way he can minimize the damage that other countries want to inflict on him, and that he could somehow have support from the US and by extension from Russia and so on. He's playing a dangerous game, and it's not going to work out. He's going to end up um, losing more than just the title of the richest man on earth.
yeah,
Yeah,
who cares?
exactly. You're all that proves is that, you know what, you can be a poor asshole or you can be a rich asshole, but at the end of the day, you're still an asshole.
Well, but all the things he's doing is it's again, it's for people that are sick, like the AIDS people, and
Yeah.
then not doing just you guys. I'm speaking to the choir here. You
I
guys
know. Yeah, I know.
and
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
just so frustrating. So I am just looking forward to
Yeah.
something to change, and I do believe that it is going to change, and
Yes.
it's going to be when this happens. I mean, there might be some mega people that are like, boo, bah humbug. There's the rest of the world is going to be cheering us on, because it's not just us. There's what, 5, 6 other countries that have this election interference, that have
Yes.
their elections have been so manipulated, and it has created such havoc.
Yeah.
And I think that we will be the leaders of exposing it. And I think that these other countries will come in right behind us and change things in their countries as well. And so we'll do that much. As far as how much trouble, he's going to be locked out of the White House.
Yeah.
And
There
some
are.
some speculate that he might go to another country. That kind of talk. I had talked to people over a year ago that were talking in these ways, that I just thought, oh, there's no way in hell that's going to happen, because he's not going to be president. Well, surprise, no, he is president. And I guess these psychics knew what they were talking about, because I do think that is going to happen. They're also talking about him maybe getting sick and stuff. I don't see that necessarily happening. I did see that maybe maybe he fakes an illness. He might fake an illness depending on how critical things get.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
Well,
it'll be the military that finally takes him down. What is this?
yeah. So Acadian Proud says, when will we start to see a few of the GOP start voting against President Stench, Musk, and VP Grump? Yes. Initiatives. When? Well,
I think now, maybe just in a week or two. It's not going to take much longer to where
no,
people are going to see the prices and it's not just going to be, oh, okay, this went up 50 cents. It's going to be this
no.
one up $5.
Yeah.
It'll be astronomical because of the how it goes down. I mean, you start with the tariff of 25%. By the time it gets to you in the grocery store, it's up 50%. I mean,
Exactly.
it's just craziness that if
Yeah.
he continues to do, he did say he's going to hold off for a month.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
sure.
as soon as that month is over with, or maybe before, then he's going to
He'll
enforce it.
try something else. He's going to do
Well, and then
something
he
else.
told
He's going to,
everybody, all countries, no matter what.
yeah,
If we pay a tariff, if you put tariffs on us, we put tariffs on you. And then for the steel and aluminum, he's saying everybody's paying this tariff.
yeah,
So it
exactly.
can't be
And
like
it's,
that.
he,
This does
he
not work.
sees, he's in his little pea brain and entertainment purposes only, in his, yeah, little pea brain, a tariff is the same as a tax.
Yeah.
And when I charge you a tariff, that means that I'm bringing more money into my coffers. When, yes, you are bringing more money into your coffers, but you're not, you are, on the one hand, you're bringing it in, on the other hand, you're paying it out, because it may cost you, you make $2 on an item that you bring in. Well, by the time that it's in your country, you haven't made a profit of $2. You have to sell it, and in order to make a profit, you have to sell it for $5. You've got to make up the $2 that it cost you to import this thing in there, and then you have to make up enough so that you can have an actual profit. So yeah, in this hand, you made $2, and in here, you lost $5. Wow, all that winning.
And let's not
Math is
forget
hard.
why he is doing this. He is doing it solely to balance the budget so he doesn't have to have his rich friends
Mhm.
pay their fair share. That's all.
Yep.
That's all it boils down to, is to avoid taxes on the rich, because
Yep.
they want the rich to get richer, the poor to get poorer.
Yeah.
This complete division of the country to make
Yeah.
it a third world type country.
Yeah.
And
No more middle class.
yeah,
No
then
more
no
middle class.
left.
Yeah. And if you're still confused as to which one you are, check your bank account. Check your bank account balance. And if you don't see a whole lot of zeros or a whole lot of numbers, yeah, you're in the poor category. And
It's interesting that he's trying to play around with the IRS when our
yeah,
taxes are due right now. I mean, well, in April. And so, we're going to see how that works. Somebody, Acadian Brad, in the DC area, 18 eggs is $12.89.
yeah,
Now, that's not even with new tariffs. That is
yeah,
because of the bird flu. But again, I'm saying, why not? Why is Trump? First of all, he's blaming Biden for this, and he wants to blame somebody. We don't want to
yeah,
blame anybody. We want to get the prices down. We also want to stop the bird flu. The bird flu is starting to go to other animals. It's starting to go to people. Even
yeah,
at least one person has died from bird
yeah.
flu. It's craziness.
Yep, I know. It is ridiculous. It is going to get a little worse before it gets better. But you know what? This is not only in the U.S., but it's happening with governments all around the world, where things that are not working are being investigated.
and
That
tested.
are yeah, and we're saying, okay, you know what? We we can no longer do things the way that we've been doing it because that has got us to where we are. So now we need to essentially break everything apart, and we need to put it back together with a lot more safeguards in place, a lot more not necessarily rules, regulations, and laws, and so on, but um, you know, there needs to be a lot more accountability. You know,
Well,
I have
if you think about it, there's always been a little bit of problems with the Republicans and
yes,
Democrats. We've worked through it over the years. This thing with the Project 2025 has been in the works since Reagan. So
yes,
it is no surprise that it's worked up to this. But if we had never heard the name Trump, this is not where we'd be today.
yeah,
We'd be totally, totally different.
yes,
Um, you know,
yes,
it's just Trump has caused nothing but trouble in this Make America Great Again thing. I knew from the get go, I knew from 2016 when he started this nonsense that that he was going to ruin it. And that's what he's done. He's made America a mess.
yes,
Not again, but the worst mess we've ever seen before.
yes.
So I do think
Unfortunately, yes,
that things will change. I hope it has to do with the election interference, or
yes,
maybe that's just a part of it. I don't know, but it's feeling optimistic, but it also feels like when are we going to see it? When is it going to happen? Well, I want it right now. This is terrible. What's going on right now is terrible. It's going to hurt a lot
yes,
of people. Some people are just going to die because they can't get their medicines and stuff, or they get sick with something because we're not being protected anymore
yeah,
by the Food and Drug Administration. I mean, it just
yeah.
it can't happen fast enough, and I know it's probably not going to happen as fast as I want it to.
I I know these things never do, but you know, I keep hoping out that at the end of it all, at the end of the day, we're that what we are bringing forth, the world that we are creating for others, is going to be a lot more stable, a lot more inclusive, a lot more loving. Where, yeah, these kinds of kind of nonsense ideas that he is spewing are going to be quickly identified. And
And like astrological tarot says, and
yes,
I've heard this as well, things are going to get worse. They're going to
yes,
get worse before they get better. Um,
yes,
and they kind of have to.
yes,
Unfortunately, if Kamala would have been voted in the first place, we'd be much happier right now, but we'd
yes.
still have to contend with what is this is going to happen no matter what. We couldn't get away from it. And it's
No,
going to be hard on everybody. And it
no,
is going to get worse before it gets better because look what Trump does. I mean, he makes it worse
no.
every single day. Every
Yes,
day.
he does.
He doesn't
Yes,
take
he
a day
does.
off. I'm going to make it worse. I'm going to upset more people. I'm just going to do any damn thing I want. And
Yes,
nobody's going to tell me that I can't. I don't care what the court says. I don't like what he says. I fire him. I get rid of that judge
yeah.
because he said something against me. I mean, it's a dictatorship. So I guess we'll just
Yeah,
get a taste of what that would be like if it actually stays that way. It's
yeah.
not going to stay that way, but
No.
it is going to get worse before it gets better. And
And it is, I mean, change typically, especially when it comes to countries and whatnot, change doesn't happen at the top and filter down. It happens at the bottom and it forces change. Right? We've got the Russian Revolution, the French Revolution. There's all kinds of different examples in history where it's the people that are at the bottom. It's the people who are saying, I'm not taking this anymore. I've had enough. And they rise up, and then they affect the change. And yes, artist Liz said we need to be beekeepers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she also said that March will be the worst.
Yeah.
That astrological tarot was talking about March being the worst.
Yes.
And it will be, but it will also be where we can see that something is changing. And that's what I'm just waiting for, is that sign of what I'm telling you in the first place on a psychic level is going to be, it's going to happen in March. It might be terrible what's going on in March, but it's also, maybe it's the beginning of the end. Maybe that's what March is all about. But, I'm hoping for more than that.
Yeah, I think so. It is that, things, history repeats itself. And yes,
but hopefully we'll at least finally see something, at least like even right now, within the last the last week, where some people have started to fight back a little bit. All these protesters that you don't really, I finally did hear about something on the news. I think it was last night that talked about the protests. They're everywhere where people are protesting, particularly Musk. So if that's all they can protest, that's fine with me. Anything that says we don't like what's going on and we're not going to take it. We're just not going to take it. If he wants to create a civil war, it's going to be him against the people, and they will bring out their guns. I mean, when you trap people in a corner and it affects their livelihood, their family, their ability to eat, to survive, to keep a roof over their head, people are not going to take it. And because that's not what the United States has ever been before. Plus, all these other politicians are eventually, I know what Jeffries is saying. He's saying we can't do anything because we are a minority in the House and a minority in the Senate. Well, that might just be changing too. There's a couple of voting things coming up across the country that might put more Democrats back in there, and it could either level it out or surpass it, depending on how the voting goes. I mean, if it goes down to Republicans, we're screwed still, but things will change. So we'll just have to see what happens in, over the next month or so. Because I see some big changes in March, but not necessarily the kind of changes that we want where it turns things around right away. But the kind of things where we can finally see something is happening, something is going to change, something's transpiring.
It is. It's the beginning, right? It's the steps forward. It is the beginning. So.
And hopefully it's some little bit of news about this election interference and what really happened with I think in the end we will hear exactly how it was done and how they figured it out and what kind of information they have with that. But if it's not that, there's some other things coming up that also can interfere with this whole thing and remove him from office, if for no other reason, because he's demented. I mean, just whatever it takes.
Crazy. Yeah, he is totally. He did that. Anyway, folks, just stay positive. Stay positive. Prepare yourself that things are going to get a little bumpier, but it's like anything else. It's always darkest before the dawn. So
just don't take it all in so internally, which let me do that for you. I'm great at it. Every time I turn on the TV, I'm like, oh my God, what happened now? But no, it will get better, but not for a while. We haven't seen the worst of it yet. Well, that's a bummer right there. I hate to even say something like that.
I know. But at the same time, you know what? There's no point in us trying to trying to present a picture that isn't real. Oh, everything is just fabulous. Just ignore what's going on. No,
No.
we have to acknowledge it. We can observe it, but we don't have to live it. We don't have to take it in and make it part of our daily lives. We can just observe it and go, okay, yeah, that's interesting, and prepare your life the way that you want to lead your life. If that means setting up a little home garden or a little indoor garden, absolutely. Why not? Why not?
Well,
Grow
and
your
we've
own
we've been
vegetables.
living with inflation for a long time, ever
Yeah,
since the pandemic. So we've been through some stuff already.
yeah,
We see what that feels like. It's not good, but
yeah,
we managed to get through it little by little. And it's not, that's not gonna. It's gonna. Some people, when they voted in Trump, they thought it was going to get better, and they thought that Biden was the villain. No,
yeah,
Biden was never Biden. Biden helped us to get back on our feet in the first place, but
yeah,
Trump lied to everybody, everybody. So what we're just going to have to go through it. It's just going to get worse. I mean, if a loaf of bread costs $5 or $6 right now, it's going to
yes,
cost 10 or 12 in a month. I mean, depending. So yeah, I
yeah,
mean, hold on, don't, hold on to
yeah,
your money the best you can, and
yeah,
just get ready and prepared for, expect
yeah,
the worst, and if something comes up better than that, Yahoo.
absolutely. And just Google, get on the big old Google machine and Google inflation and Italy, for example, during World War II, where they would literally, it would take a wheelbarrow barrel of money to buy a loaf of bread.
Wow.
So yeah, and you see the pictures of, yeah, they're going down the street with the wheelbarrow is just absolutely chocked full because yeah, inflation hits and prices just go sky high. So
But yeah,
anyway, yeah,
do keep your energy up. Keep your energy
yeah,
up. Just know that when you see something happening that you can't, you just like, I can't
yeah,
believe that's happening. Don't, just accept it. Just
yeah,
accept it for now, because it's not always going to be this way. And I really believe that before the very end of 2025, all of this, we'll be talking a whole different story. A whole, it'll be rainbows and unicorns by the
yeah,
towards the end of 2025. And
yeah.
when we
Compared
can
to
go
this,
back over these shows and remember how desperate we were
yeah,
feeling, or how down we might have been feeling. So keep your energy high, your hopes high, but don't be
yeah.
thrown off when things go downhill, because Trump has a way of making everything like an avalanche go
Yes,
downhill.
everything he touches dies.
Yeah,
So
isn't that the truth?
anyway, anyway, well, thank you, all of you, for being here with us, for spending part of your day with us. Cleo, thank you so much for
Well,
doing
thank you,
this with me.
Marina.
I really look forward to this exchange of information and sharing things and whatnot. I love it. I know politics is a dirty
It's a
dirty
bitch.
do, but hey, hey, absolutely. And we will when are we going to see you again? We will see you again on Tuesday, I believe the 4th of
March
March.
4th.
Going to
Yeah,
be on a Tuesday.
March
Yeah,
4th.
we might be jumping around a little bit, but you know what? If you like, share, and subscribe to both our channels, make sure that you hit all the little notification things so that you can be notified before we go live. And then don't forget, you can also go to our YouTube pages and check out the post, right? It used to be community. It's now called post. because yeah, we'll let you know when things are happening on there as well.
Yeah. And thank you
So
guys so much for coming and listening
absolutely.
to the whole thing. As much as we don't get all the stuff on the screen for you to see who did the questions and stuff, I know you're talking amongst yourselves. You guys are
Yeah.
so smart.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love it that you show up for these because I learn a lot from you.
Absolutely. And just, oh, hello, book. Hello, Innocent Potato. Six says, yeah, Michelle, Astrological Tarot. Hey, hey. So, all right, you guys. Well, take care. Have a great evening. And yeah, we'll do this again. Bye for now.
Bye bye.